Good morning. I didn't get to say hi to you sooner. It's my 10 a.m. walk. Today is Thursday, and at lunchtime we're going to be doing some homework. Last weekend I was working a wedding, so I didn't go to my Chinese class. That made me fall behind. And this class moves so fast. So at lunchtime today I'm planning to go to sit down and do more homework, catch everything up that I possibly can, because this weekend we're going to be very busy. There is a video job we have been waiting half a year to shoot, and it's finally happening. It's both Saturday and Sunday, and it is going to be a conference, like an investment conference. It's for a investment, real estate, and capital conference. And they had a really bad experience with their previous year's videographer. So we really want to impress them because they might have other events. So as an entrepreneur, you want to create those connections to be able to bring in more repetition and work back to your group. So this is what we're crossing fingers for. And I'll be working in a team. There's about 4 videographers. It's all day event, both Saturday and Sunday, so 2 days. I also on Sunday have to go to my Chinese class, turn in homework. There is also a presentation for my Chinese class and I have to prepare. So chaos. So that's Saturday and Sunday. Friday, which is tomorrow, is Josh's dad's birthday. And they live in a different city, so after work, we're planning to drive up there and have dinner with him and then drive back the same night. It's an hour and a half, kind of like a drive. So that's the plan, to come back home that same night, because the next day we have all this chaos of the conference videography job happening. So that's my weekend. Last weekend, I was working a wedding and a maternity session. Luckily I don't have to edit for those, and also not for this one either, but I do have a wedding videography job that I need to edit. Actually there are 2 of them that I have to edit, and I have been kind of like, I finished those before Christmas, and so it's really hard to get back into it and try to find courage and motivation to get things done, but I have to. So after I get through this whole big of a job, my plan is to get started editing those work, send it to the customer. So now you are very caught up to my life. So if you're interested, please keep watching this video and the following couple. I might just combine the weekend depending on how much I get to film when I'm working. Sometimes it's hard to film. That's all I have for you right now. Look how green and luscious and warm and orange the light is. I'm so happy. I can't wait for the springtime. just checked the weather and it's 80 degrees weather. Oh my gosh, it's so nice. No wonder it feels so warm and toasty. I haven't checked the weather all day today. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy. I'm gonna have to check to see if this is gonna be the case for the rest of the week. Are we over with winter? Am I supposed to be packing up all of my winter clothes now and get ready for the spring? It's so exciting. Anyways, I'm gonna have to go pick up the dog. I left her at my mom's house and my mom's not feeling very well. So I wanted to go get her something because she's sick. She has flu. And I asked her how she feels and she said pretty terrible. But she has everything. She said she has soup, she has like everything. And they usually are pretty good. Like the fridge is full of food and everything. I don't know what to do. I might just stop by the store and get her like maybe like some juice, like the stuff that I'm thinking that she won't buy for herself, you know. Maybe I'll get her some juice and I'll walk around and see if I could find her a nice soup that's already made, you know, things of that sort. Let's do that. The weather, oh my gosh, it's 5:37 right now, so it's not too dark either. This is so amazing. I want to cry. I'm so happy about the weather being so warm and toasty and nice. Oh, I feel like I can finally come out of my little cocoon. Though, watch out for it. Sometimes it goes like this and then it goes like literally on a cold front the next day. So I'm gonna check the weather right now and then head out to a store to get my mom some nice little things to make her feel better. Back home, I made myself a really nice lavender mint tea, and I wanted to talk to you about the book that I read, and I promised that I was going to tell you a little bit about it, and I finally found the time tonight. Okay, so the book, I felt like I'm telling a story. So the book is called Choose FI. And it's written by 3 people. I know one of them is an accountant, the other one's I think is a medical doctor, and then the third one is a physiotherapist, I believe. So they have a podcast, and I found their Facebook group as well. And it's all about financial independence, and I like the Facebook group because people anonymously would come up and tell you their life issues around finance, and there's a lot of finance savvy people that would give recommendations of how to get themselves out of the situation. I really enjoy reading that. So ever since I came across this book, that Facebook group is something I checked all the time. But I would say out of all the books that I've read, if I want to have one comprehensive book for the beginners on personal finance, I'd recommend this one so far. I feel like it touched on a lot of good subjects. It wasn't just one thing, it was just life in general and how to plan your life around. But I would say it's still a beginner. Yeah, it's not really advanced. It's very much like on the beginner level. And some of it is kind of, I don't know, I think it's too dreamy. What I mean is not very realistic in terms of like how frugal to live your life. So these group of people, they really want to
just retire early as soon as possible. That seems to be their main goal. So a lot of them just retired in their early 40s, which is not something I'm interested in, but it was interesting nonetheless, to how to get to where they wanted to get. So some of the things that I learned and I thought it was interesting that I want to share with you. I finally figured out how the retirement amount they're supposed to save works. If you're not a beginner in personal finance, so you probably already know about this, but it was new information for me. I felt that I was very overwhelmed all the time with calculating how much to save. But I finally found the formula through this book. So they said just to figure out how much annually you're spending. So minus the housing situation that you have, like you're just like every day, how much would you be spending a year? And then you get that amount and you times it by 25. And that would give you the amounts for retirement you would need in order to retire. So you pretty much again have this investment and you take out 4% every year. Once you retire, you're like, hey, I'm not going to be working anymore. I'm just going to be living off of this amount. So this is your amount, and you take off 4% every year to live off of. Pretty much, this is the formula for it. I would say one thing they kept repeating throughout this book is in order to get to financial freedom, you got to increase your earnings. That would be to get a better job, if that would be to go to school, get a better degree, whatever the means is to increase your salary and then spend less. So spend below your means. It's pretty much what they recommended, and then just invest whatever you have accumulated. So one of the things that was interesting that I made a note, they said they're trying to bring the meal cost per person to $2 to $3. So this was their goal between their households. So they will look into frugal recipes, bulk buying. So that was interesting to me. I didn't know like a dollar amount of like how much per person per meal would be good. So $2 to $3 per meal. So one of the things that they recommended, I mean, this is not something I'm able to do, but for young people like in college and stuff, their recommendation was to buy a house complex and rent out all the rooms and all of the complex, like to live off of one and then rent the rest. And how to make that money was like you just literally beg all of your relatives. Like I said, some of these things that they recommended, like it's not possible for everyone. But that was one thing that they kept saying, like, oh, this is one really good way. And they recommend to save 50% of your income for 15 years. So that's one way with the real estate. So accumulate enough money and then go get a complex. So like a building. I don't know, whatever that may look like, a couple of condos, an apartment complex. I don't know. Pretty much to live off of one, rent the rest. So then you're just like, improving your income. Start a side business was another recommendation that they had. And then whatever you're making, put it in an index fund. Yeah, that's another thing. Be a passive investor, not like, trying to accumulate a lot of money and then put it in. Pretty much like automated, and every paycheck automatically automated so that you can invest. So that's another thing. So if you have your money in your bank account just sitting, because of inflation, you're going to be losing about 3% of it, I believe, every year. So trying to find a way, either asking your bank for any type of saving accounts that they have, that they would give you some sort of interest, but just be mindful that 3% is inflation. So if you're just having it there, it's just losing value. they recommended two things to do in order to increase your income. One of them is to become an entrepreneur and start a business, and the other one was the real estate, like I said, buy a house or complex. For the entrepreneur part, they said create a business that brings a value to people, that people are willing to pay for your service, and try to be still very mindful and control your expenses. So just because you're earning more, your life expenses doesn't have to go up. And then pick something that is your passion projects, something that you love, because there's a lot of hard work when it comes to running your own business. And I can vouch for that. So if you have a lot of money, okay, that complex was if you're poor, so you just like beg people, get money and buy an apartment. But if you're really rich and you're like, I want to start real estate, and how would you do that, right? So they had a whole chapter on like how to start on a real estate investment. So they said for 5 years consecutively, every year buy a new house. Don't think too much about it, just keep buying. Because I believe, I wouldn't know because I don't have the money for that sort of investments. But apparently there's a lot of fear around like, how to get started in the real estate. And they're like, oh, don't overthink it. Just keep buying one house a year. And also they said, if you're wondering which neighborhood, like what area of the town to buy in the place that you would want to live and you can afford to live. So in a neighborhood that you feel comfortable living at. Yeah. So that is all the notes that I have for this book. Right now, I am reading another book. 70% through it. And that's The Millionaires Next Door. This book has been so popular, and I remember it's been like in every recommendation that I've heard. And this one is talking about frugality to a level that I just never knew, like how to save money and why to save money. And oh my gosh, it has changed my perspective about like buying luxury, how to define, doing well in life. I'm gonna have to make another video and tell you more about that one. But if you're considering ever to read a book, honestly, this one, I wish someone has given me this book when I was in my 20s. It just puts everything in perspective. Like, you want to buy luxury items to make you feel better. You want to buy certain clothes so that you can fit into a certain group of people and lifestyle, and you have like goals for your life and how to define that. Mind blown. Absolutely mind blown. Yeah, so I'm gonna make another video on that once I finish it. So far, every chapter that I'm reading, I'm completely blown away. But how my perspective about everything, how it was so twisted by media, by social media, what I considered great, what I considered well off. So, and what percent of what you see is actually real. Anyways, thank you so much for watching this long into this video. I hope that you saw some values, and if you have any recommendations about personal investments or personal finance, please go ahead and let me know. I am in that phase of my life since this January. My goal was to figure out my personal finances and learn how to invest. And so I would appreciate that. And with that, I'll see you in the next video. Have a great day, night, whenever that is that you're watching this video. And I'll see you on the next video. Thank you. Bye-bye.